Hey everyone, the following video is meant to give you a quick tutorial of how to go ahead and get used to using iMovie for the project that you're working on. Now this tutorial is going to be pretty general, so if there's more specific questions that you have, go ahead and ask those in class and we can go ahead and answer those on a case-by-case basis. Now the first thing that we need to cover before we begin going over some of the different features of iMovie is where you're going to keep all of the media files that you're going to use for your project. All pictures, all movies, all music, all of that should be in the same folder. Okay, it'll just be easier to get to and work with iMovie. The second thing, and probably the biggest thing that you have to remember, is that you have to sit at the same Mac computer for the whole entire project. Now the reason for that is that iMovie stores drafts of your project to the program and not to your student profile. So if you were to log into a different computer, you wouldn't see your project on there. So make sure that you're sitting at the same computer each day. Alright, now we're ready to go ahead and start using iMovie by creating a new project. Now on your screen you might see the location where it says project library as blank. You might not see any other projects. There could, however, be other projects in there already that other people throughout the year worked on. So again, before you start working during the days of this project, make sure that you're in your project and not in someone else's, because there could be other classes who are using iMovie as well. Alright, so when we're ready to go ahead and make a new project for ourselves, let's go to File, New Project. And you'll see that iMovie gives us some pre-made project themes. Some are pretty cool. So if I just click once, you can see how there's different transitions, titles, things like that. Now, I recommend though that you still select no theme. You can go ahead and get some of these cool transitions and titles later on in your movie, but if you choose it now, it's not going to allow for a lot of customization later on. So go ahead, select New Theme. Where it says Name for your new project, go ahead and put your last name and then the name of the assignment. Now the reason why we have you put your last name first is because, go back to Project Library, it'll help you identify your project. So you're not mistakenly working in someone else's project. Because when you go ahead and open up iMovie, you actually might be brought to the Edit Project screen rather than the overall project library. Alright, so it's just always a good practice to make sure that you're in your particular project. Alright, so here's a new project. It's blank so far. There's nothing in there. All I have to do is go to Edit Project. And this is where it might look a little bit different on each person's screen, depending on how the last person that used iMovie wanted their screen to look. Some of you might have this event library and your media bin down here. Others might have it placed up on top here. And then some of you might conversely have this blank screen on the bottom. All right. To toggle that, there's a button on the left that says Swap Events and Projects. So if I hit that button, you see how it moves it back and forth. Some people like to work with their movie on top. Some people like to work with their movie on the bottom. So it's really just a matter of preference for you. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and put our movie clips and our pictures into our blank canvas here. Now, a little thing to note about iMovie is that it was meant to edit video, not slideshow pictures. You can make slideshow pictures in iMovie, but it's a little bit different than going ahead and editing movie. Alright, so if you want to add pictures, you're going to drag and drop them directly onto the canvas. So if I went over to my folder where I already had all my media files in one place, like we said, all I have to do is click on the file and drag it over. And you see how it appears in the canvas. Okay. Now for movies, see how it says movie and movie down here, you're going to have to go about adding those in a slightly different way. All right. Those go in the event library. All right, so what's going to happen is iMovie will create a folder for you of all the movie clips that you might use for your project. So if you have any movie clips that you're going to use in your project, you're going to go back to the project library button so that you're back at this overview of everyone's project, and you're going to go to File, Import Movies. And when you go to Import Movies, again, it'll create a folder for you under 2014, and it will put all the movie clips that you can use in your project. All right, so if I go back to the Edit Project button, once I import all the movies that I'm going to use for my project, I can click on it, all right, and you see this yellow border appears. Now, if I wanted to click the whole entire clip, I can double click it, all right, and I can drag it up to my canvas, and it puts it in there. Or even easier, I can double click it, and I can hit the letter E, and it puts it in there as well. All right, so once I have everything that I need to have inside my canvas, I can easily move these media clips around wherever I want. See how my cursor turned into a little hand? So I can go ahead and move this anywhere I want. Same thing with the movie clip. So I can rearrange all my pictures and all my movie clips in the order that they need to go in. Now, when you're working with photos, all right, so if I hovered over this photo here, I get three little icons. I get this black crop icon. I get the amount of time that this picture is meant to stay on screen, and I've got some preferences button. All right, now if I click on this black crop button, it shows me the default animation that every picture has, and the default is Ken Burns. Now the Ken Burns filter is a pretty cool filter. Make sure picture transitions look pretty professional. The problem is it crops a lot of the picture out. So if it's not on the part of the picture that you want, you can go ahead and move these red and green boxes so it shows the part of the picture that you want. If you want the whole entire picture shown, you can go ahead and hit the fit button, and it'll go ahead and show the entire picture. Okay, so that's how you go ahead and work with pictures. Now, say for instance you had a movie clip and you wanted a picture to appear in that movie clip. So you're talking and you're talking about a particular person, event, or location, and you wanted that to appear while you're talking. All right, that's the picture-in-picture effect. Now to add that effect, you're going to have to go to iMovie, Preferences, and then make sure that the Show Advanced Tools box is selected. By default, this is left unchecked, so make sure that you check this box if you want to do picture-in-picture. So if I check that box, close this down. So say for instance, here's my little guy, he's talking, and I wanted a picture to appear while he's talking. So I go back to my pictures that I had in the folder, and say I wanted this sign to appear in my movie. I'm going to click on it and then drag it directly on top of the part of the movie that I want it to appear. And you'll see that a new menu pops up. All right, and I want to choose Picture in Picture. So what happens now is you can see on the right here that this picture will appear at that part of the movie as I'm talking. Now I can go ahead and move this picture to other parts of the movie too, so it doesn't always have to be, just at that location. I can move it just like I can move any other thing inside iMovie. The next thing we should cover is title slides. Now it's important that your documentary has some sort of intro, right? Just like when we go see a movie, the movie just doesn't start playing. There's a little bit of theme music that's set. There's some credits, things like that. So there's plenty of options to choose from right here. Or you can go ahead, and this is where you can pick one of those cool themes that you saw before. So say for instance, I wanted the newscast theme. I can go ahead and select that project theme now, but it's important that we uncheck this box that says automatically add transitions and titles. Because if you do that, again, you're not going to have customization ability. So make sure that is unchecked. Hit OK. And now you'll go ahead and you'll get some cool title slides. So this is my title slide maybe I want for my newscast. And it's going to ask me what kind of background I want. I can just go ahead and choose gradient. And here I can go ahead and change the text to whatever I want. Okay, so if I hit done here, and I hit the space bar to start my movie, you'll see it has a nice title slide, right? So my movie just doesn't start playing automatically. So that's something you want to think about too, is adding the title slide. And you could also always, at the end, add credits to by putting in the scrolling credits title slide as well. Transitions are also important. As you go from clip to clip, it's important to go ahead and have smooth transitions. So this box over here next to the title slides is transitions. And again, here are the default newscast ones, or I could choose any of the ones that are a little bit more general down on the bottom. But since we're already going with the newscast theme, I can go ahead and choose some of these. So say I put those in between my pictures. So again, all I have to do is hit the space bar to start my movie. And it goes ahead and puts that transition in between there, as evidenced by this box right here. Now, try to go ahead and pick the same transition throughout your movie, because if you start using multiple different types of transitions, it's going to distract your viewer. So that's something to keep in mind too. Now, the last thing you might want to add for your movie is music. iMovie has default music just by clicking on the music icon. And if you go to iLife Sound Effects and then head down to the Jingles folder, there's lots and lots of jingles for you to choose from. So you should choose something that kind of mirrors the mood of your particular documentary. So this could be music that you put at the beginning, before you start talking, or at the end of your movie as the credits are rolling, or during parts of the movie where maybe you're just showing pictures and nobody's talking. All right, so you can go ahead and, again, so say maybe there's just one called Harbor. So if I hit the little play button, I can preview it. If that's what I wanted, I can just click on it and then put it where I want it to go in my movie. So let's go and put it right there. Okay, and again, if it's too long, I can always shorten it. I can lower the volume so it doesn't compete with my voice. So whatever you want to do. But you know that it's in your video now because it's green. Okay, now once everything is in your movie, everything's been great, transitions are there, title slides are there, everything is ready to be turned in. What you're going to need to know is that it's currently not in a file format that anyone can view. From day to day, as you work on this project, iMovie saves a draft of your project automatically. So the first day that you work on it, you don't have to worry about going to File, Save As, so on and so forth. It's going to save it. Don't worry about it. But when you're ready to turn it in, you need to go to Share, choose Export Movie, and then choose Medium, and then export it, and then make sure it's on your desktop. And then once it's in that particular format, then we can go about sharing it so that it can be graded and finalized your project. Okay? If there's any questions that are not covered in this general tutorial, go ahead and ask me those in class, and we'll go ahead and answer those. All right, thanks.